Hello everyone, welcome to Hillside Harvest Homestead. We invite you to come join us as we start our homesteading journey. My name is April and I want to give you a little tour of our homestead. Maybe this can encourage some of you out there that are thinking about homesteading, kind of give you just a view of what it is. We're starting from scratch. We live on a budget, a small budget, and so this is just something that both my husband Anthony and I want to do, have wanted to do. I've wanted to do this for years. My husband and I just got married last year, and I had a home, and we've got some outbuildings on here. One of them I turned into a chicken coop, and then as we've gotten some other animals, we've turned one into a woodshed and one into a feed shed. So, we're just starting little at a time, but I wanted to just kind of give you a little tour of what we have, and then we're just going to go on from there. So here we have our little chicken run. Chickens are starting to come out and enjoy the sunshine this morning. We have 9 hens and we have 4 ducks. This is their run. It's not big. It doesn't need to be over big. It's not like we have a huge amount of chickens. I've got a swimming pool in here for our ducks. Obviously it's winter time. We don't have water in there right now. But we have several different breeds of chickens. And we just have enough chickens that for our needs as our family uses the eggs. We don't need to have eggs coming out our ears. So we don't have gobs and gobs of chickens. We also don't want to have to pay for gobs and gobs of chickens either, because the feed gets expensive. But we have a couple Americanas, and we have some Rhode Island Reds, and red sex-link, and black sex-link, and then we have a couple of Banties as well. Our rooster is a Banty. On our little barn here, we just have a little tiny chicken coop. It was a shed that was already here when I moved onto the property. I just converted it into a chicken coop. My husband built this nesting box on the outside. My dad put in the window. It's just a screen, just to let some air flow in and out. But it works great. I love having the nesting box on the outside, so I don't always have to go in the chicken coop. And then we've got your nesting boxes, which is easy for the hens to get into. And yay, we have an egg and another egg. That's wonderful. We're getting more daylight, and so the chickens have just started laying again. I don't keep a light in their hen house during the winter, just because I like to give the hens a little break from laying eggs. We are keeping some of the eggs right now to incubate, because we do want to get some more chicks at this point. Our hens are about 2 years old. I think they're a little older than 2 years old right now. But so as they get older, their laying production is going to get less, and so we'd like to get some more chicks to take their place as they get older. Also, one of the reasons that we want to incubate some eggs also is to be able to sell the chicks. We have a lot of neighbors around here who love raising chickens, and just the local feed stores, things like that. We have chicks everywhere, and they go like hotcakes. So that's one thing we would like to be able to sell some chicks, just to help kind of offset feed costs. It's beneficial for us that way. Right now we have 18 eggs in an incubator, so we'll see how it goes. Obviously not all of them are going to hatch, I'm sure, and then of course I don't know how many hens we'll get and how many roosters we'll get, so we put in more eggs than we actually need for ourselves. Whatever is left, whatever hatches and is left, we can sell. As we get more eggs, we'll continue to add more to the incubator, so that we do have those extras to be able to sell, or if we don't get the eggs, the amount of hens that we need. So anyways, that's just another little journey that we have on our homestead that we're starting. I've never incubated eggs before. I've never had that experience before. Anthony has. He's done both chickens and quail. So he's done it before. He knows what he's doing a little more than I do in that area. So, but that's our little hen house. That's what we've got. Obviously, we need to replace. We need to replace a lot of the siding. We need to repaint it, and you know, all of that stuff. These buildings have been here for a long time, and they're just worn out. So that's part of what we need to do as upkeep for our little homestead. We just need to replace a lot of that stuff. So those will be summer jobs that we have to keep us busy. So here we've got our goats. Hello. I had just a little makeshift shelter for the winter months. This is not our buck. I'm borrowing him for a little bit to try to breed our does. We have Nigerian dwarfs. That's Maple right there. And here's Peter. He is our little buck. He's 5 to 6 months old. I'm not completely sure how old he is. We got him as a little one. He is the son of our doe right here, the black and white one. That's Prim. And then we have in here Lulu, who's got her head up, and then Tilly is right there with her head down. Prim right here is our friendly doe. She's super friendly. She's used to people. She's used to being milked. When we first got her, she was still in milk, and so we did get some milk off of her. But the other 3 does that I have not been bred yet. And they're not real friendly. Lulu is pretty friendly. I mean, she's getting there. So they just, those 3, Maple and Tilly and Lulu, they're not as friendly. And so that's why I have them in here to breed with this buck. I'm going to be putting Maple in there pretty soon as well. So that they don't breed with Peter, our buck. If these does don't become very friendly as time goes on, as they have babies and they're used to getting milked and things like that, if they just don't get friendly, I'm going to go ahead and sell them. Hopefully with their kids we'll get some doelings and be able to keep those, because I know we'll make those ones friendly. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Maple. So and obviously if we bred our does to Peter, we wouldn't be able to keep the doelings because we can't breed his kids to him. And he's here chewing on my coat right now. So that's our plan with our girls. I have raised goats before. I raised Nubians and La Mancha and Alpine. This time around I wanted to just do the Nigerian dwarves. I know the babies are super cute and they're a little easier to sell. I know they don't make as much milk, which I wasn't worried about. We didn't need a whole lot of milk just for our family, but then we got a cow. So now we're gonna have more milk. So I'm gonna have a lot of experience with making cheeses and yogurts and anything that I can do with milk. I'll figure it out. Here's our brand new cow we've had for not quite 2 weeks. Hello. This is Annabelle. She's a heifer, actually. We're hoping that she's bred. Owners weren't sure. They hadn't had a preg test on her yet. But she was exposed to a bull through 2 heat cycles last November and December. So she should be pregnant. Instead of getting a preg test on her, I'm actually just going to kind of wait and see if she ends up going into heat or if she doesn't. So we'll figure out if she's pregnant that way. If she is pregnant, she'll have her calf around August or September. This is my first cow that I've ever had. Now I've had chickens and goats before and done all that, but I have never had a cow before, so this is my first experience with this, and I'm having a great time. I'm really enjoying it. I was very fortunate, very fortunate to get a friendly cow, or a friendly heifer. she was raised as a 4-H calf, so she is used to being led and standing, tied up, and so that was wonderful. I don't have to train her to do that. I come out and work with her every day, or try to every day, and just brushing her, getting her used to being tied for a while. And I mean, she's already used to being tied, but you know, the more I work with her, the better she's going to be. And so I just brush her. I do mess with her teats to make sure that she's used to that she's not shocked when she does start getting milked. Is used to my hands being down there. She seems to be a real good cow. She can be patient, and then at times she can be real bossy. I think that's pretty typical of cows, though. This is just a little shelter that my husband made real quickly last fall. We needed to get something up real quick to get some shelter for the goats, actually. And so in here, we're going to be putting a stall area, actually where Annabelle is right now. I'm going to put a stall area in here. We need to make it big enough, obviously, for her to be able to calve. We also plan to have the goats in here as they have their kids. We'll put a milk stanchion in here. I already have a little milking stanchion for the goats, and so we'll put that in here. We're going to be building onto it as well, so that we can keep our hay in this area right here, right next to the barn. It'll also provide a little shelter for the animals from the elements. They can come in and get out of the weather. My husband likes to raise bees, honeybees. I've got a couple hives down here. Annabelle has taken the tops off of them. I think she thinks they're her new toy. They unfortunately didn't survive this winter. My husband was raised in Alabama, and this was actually his first winter having bees here up north in Montana. And so it's different than raising bees in Alabama. He raised bees successfully in Alabama. But the time that you take care of your bees to keep them from getting mites and taking care of different diseases, it's at different times, different parts of the year than it is up here. So unfortunately, he wasn't quite sure when the right time to keep his bees from getting mites would be here. So he got to his hives just a little too late, and they didn't make it. They did get infested with mites. So he ordered a couple nukes so that he can get a couple more hives going this year. You know, it's just kind of the live and learn type of experience. So right back behind me, back over here, is where our garden is. And last year it did really well. It provided enough food for our family, but it's not big enough to provide food for the whole year. So we are looking to expand the garden area. We'd like to be able to build a couple of greenhouses so that we can start seeds earlier. Up here in Montana, the grow season is kind of short. And so if we can just have a greenhouse to be able to start our seeds earlier would be nice. And then also an area in our greenhouse or greenhouses to be able to house cucumbers, which need a little more humidity, and they just needed to be a little warmer. We'd put our peppers in there and probably our tomatoes. We did grow, or try to grow, cucumbers this last year. They didn't work out at all. We got a couple cucumbers from them, but not enough. I mean, it was just a couple. Our jalapenos did really well. We had a lot of those. Bell peppers, we didn't have a whole lot. Tomatoes, we had a lot, but the season was so short that we had a lot of green tomatoes by the time the first frost started coming. So we actually just pulled all of those tomatoes off and just put them on a table in our garage where they would ripen in there. So that's one of the things, that I'm hoping we can, if we get a greenhouse, we can start those things earlier so that we can just use that grow season more efficiently. So behind me also, we've got a compost pile started. So now we get to, since we got a cow, we get to put cow poop in there as well. So I really like that. But so we put our chickens' food scraps in there, and then we've got old hay, things like that. Some goat poop gets put in there. When I clean the chicken coop out, we'll get that stuff, put it in there. Just normal stuff for the compost pile. Thanks for joining us at the Triple H today. I hope that you enjoyed your little tour. I also hope that you come back again and visit us. And remember, be kind to each other, be a light in your world. You never know whose life you may be impacting today. We'll see you next time.